So it seems like 18 has been through a bunch of storms, and I'm assuming also snakes and smokes. But particularly with storms, there's gonna be small manini ones and like big ones, right? How would you, or what's your advice to people that are going through the small ones, and what's your advice to people that are going through like major, foundation shaking type storms?
Yeah. So, from a practical level, I believe that you got to identify number one, if you categorize you're in a storm,
Yeah.
by looking at all three categories I shared, and you say, man, this is definitely a storm. It's out of my control. There's nothing I can do.
Mm.
There are four indicators, discernment indicators and application indicators that I would advise that we use. And it's based off my childhood experience in storms, growing up in the Midwest.
Yeah.
I was like one of those kids that loved, we had a basketball rim that you can adjust. I put it just at the level to where I can dunk it. Who didn't?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And then I would get a little bit smaller ball so I can palm it.
Yeah.
And then we used to have dunk contests. And yeah, it would be super fun. I was probably, sixth grade and acting like I'm Sean Kemp. That's my age, y'all.
Let's go.
So, but doing these, we'd be outside playing as a kid. No phones, we didn't, too many game systems back then. So we're always outside. And so we had to be back home by the street lights, so that's all normal. And while we're playing, sometimes we would realize, like, wait a minute, it's getting kind of like you could feel it, like the moisture in the air changes. It's sometimes a little warmer, a little cooler. The wind starts changing.
Mm-hmm.
You just feel this. You could feel it, like a storm's coming. You just know.
Yeah.
You've been around it. It's just you have that, like, you just know. The wind. You look at the clouds. Can tell it's getting a little bit dark. They're kind of doing this wavy blow thing that's not normal, and you're just like, okay, storm's coming. But as kids, you don't go run for shelter. You don't care how big it is. You're trying to get your last hour of playing. Mm-hmm. So when you would hear thunder, it was official. Okay, it is a storm.
It's time to go home.
Well, no, we still wouldn't go home.
Oh,
because we learned this rule: like when you hear thunder, you see lightning. You do this little count, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. And then if you see the lightning, or if you see the lightning and you do it and you hear the thunder, that's how far
away. By mileage, right?
By mileage. Yeah. So we wait till the last second because we want to maximize our time, right? Yeah. To go playing. But, hearing the thunder and then seeing the lightning right before the rain, we would time it pretty good, pretty like on point.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes hell would fall on us. That would be crazy. But so we go back inside, and then in the Midwest, I was in the city, so we didn't get like the tornadoes hit us. Uh-huh. We'd hear about the tornadoes outside of us, but we would get slammed with the thunderstorm part of it, right? And it would hit so hard, you would hear like small debris come and slam into the window. You would see trees fall. You would see electrical wires fall, and it was just it was kind of a fun experience. The next day when the storm passed, we would go outside as kids, grab our bikes. There'd be fire trucks, and
it sounds super fun. Like I'm imagining now, it'd just be cool to just go on your bikes with the boys, just like.
Bro, we'd get on our bikes. There would be smashed cars with trees. I mean, it was like a war. It was like a war scene, and it would happen, 3 or 4 times a year. It was like. And we just want to go see all the damage. Obviously, it was just that childlike faith, not thinking about it like an adult. But yeah, just having that childlike faith, man, and not looking at it like, the destruction or the panic or worrying about your house getting, slammed or whatever by the wind and the destruction. But then looking at it as an adult too, now that I'm older, is like, dang, you're hoping you're kind of going to a little more of a panic or a little worry, like, man, I hope my car doesn't I don't got to worry about insurance, or I hope, everyone's safe. I'm so sorry about Jim across the street where his truck got smashed. I can't imagine what he's going through. There's the whole adult side of looking at it too, and the responsibility of like trying to protect your assets and people and everyone's safe. So, when you're young, you don't think about those things, but it really made me think about like the balance of, and this is to answer your question, what would I share to the people in different levels of storms is I do believe that we want to address it with a balance, with a heart, or like a childlike faith, but also an adult stewardship. Like there's a balance of doing all you can do, but at the same time have a faith aspect, knowing that God's in control of all things, and just having that faith understanding, like, hey, it will pass, and whatever happens, God allowed, and we'll have to address it when the time comes.